That's about enough for boys soccer. We're going to talk about Mackay and the Mackay girls coming up a little later in the show. Did you tell everybody what the show is called? Are we calling it that? Or
Well, we were looking at names, and you came up with a really good one. And then I thought, the fans are going to want to have their say too. So I thought,
okay,
maybe we, all
right.
But you want to say what you wanted the name to be called? That way, if people want to roll with this.
Nah. Well, I don't know. What do you think? You think we ought to put it out there? Think we ought to put it out there? Nobody's going to steal it.
Yeah, I was told that I got my job because of this system. So, you want to say the name?
So that's the name of our little show here. We're calling it the Compadre system because, we're compadres. And this is our system for getting sports to you.
Never gotten a job because of their compadres.
No, never, ever. So welcome to the Compadre system. This is us, Jake Berry, Clay Williams. We're not just talking about the localest of local sports. The biggest sport in the Valley when it comes to people watching is definitely NFL football. And we had big news tonight because the schedules were released. Dallas Cowboys schedule released, Houston Texans schedule released, all 32 NFL teams schedule was released. And I thought we'd go over it real quick, just get some of the highlights, see what we think. And the great thing about this year is the Texans and the Cowboys playing each other. It's October 7th. It is a primetime game. It's going to be on NBC, Sunday Night Football, October 7th. It's going to be the Houston Texans hosting the Dallas Cowboys. So we're going to see two of the best young quarterbacks in the NFL, and the two quarterbacks of the two Texans teams go at it, Dak Prescott and Deshaun Watson. Hopefully neither one is injured by that point in time, but it should be a great game. That's going to be the game everybody in Texas is looking for early on in the season anyway.
How many pounds do you think that Zeke Elliott's going to be when the season starts? Because he was looking hefty last year. He was Mike Allstott by the end of the football season. He was a fullback.
Yeah. Hey, the good news, Dak Prescott says he cut out all of his fast food, and he's lost 20 pounds. So he says he's 22. It's time for him to start living healthy. I wish I had thought like that when I was 22 years old. But
yeah.
All right, here's the schedule for the Cowboys. Starts like this. They start on the road for the first time since 2012. 2012 was the last time they started the year on the road. Carolina Panthers is where they're going. So it's Dak Prescott versus Cam Newton straight out of the box. I see somebody asking who they think Dez will sign with. We're going to talk Dez Bryant coming up in just a little bit. And there has been a couple of teams who have shown big interest in him, and another one which may have some interest in him after what happened today. We'll talk Dez in a little while. So it starts September 9th, Carolina, Dallas. It's an NBC primetime game. Cowboys have 5 primetime games this year. 3 on Sunday nights, 2 on Thursdays, and then, of course, they'll have Thanksgiving as well. So it goes at Carolina, at New York Giants, their first home against the Giants, and then off to face the Seahawks in Seattle. Ouch. That's going to be a tough game. Luckily, it looks like they're giving away most of their defense. Detroit Lions at home. And then that Houston Texans game we talked about on October 7th. And then they'll be back home against the Jacksonville Jaguars. So the Cowboys are playing the AFC South teams this year. That means they'll play the Texans, they'll play the Jaguars, they'll play the Titans, and they'll play the Colts. So Jaguars, then the Redskins on October 21st, then a bye in what looks like to be Week 8 of the NFL season. Then it's off to a Monday night game where they'll play at home against Tennessee, and then Philadelphia and Philly, then at Atlanta, home against the Redskins, and then a Thursday night game at home against the New Orleans Saints. That's going to be that's the week after Thanksgiving. So Thanksgiving at home against the Washington Redskins on Thursday, November 22nd. And then the next Thursday, they'll be at home for a night game against the New Orleans Saints. So 2 Thursday games in a row for the Cowboys. And then they'll finish up with the Eagles at home, the Colts on the road, the Buccaneers at home, and finish up with the New York Giants on the day before New Year's Eve, December 30th. And that'll be the 16th game of the season in Week 17 in East Rutherford, New Jersey, which I hear is beautiful around December 30th.
Yeah, nice and balmy.
So, I mean, you look at the schedule and you say, all right, we're playing the AFC South teams. Okay, Jacksonville obviously was good last year. But what are the Colts going to be if they don't have Andrew Luck back? You look at the Titans, how good are they going to be? And then, of course, you've got 2 games against the defending Super Bowl champions in the Philadelphia Eagles. This is a tough schedule. It's a tough schedule for the Cowboys. And they didn't do themselves any favors with the way they played last year. What are your thoughts? What do you look at when you see these 16 games?
Here's my thing. I actually think it's a positive that Dez is gone. Now, I don't know who they're going to get in the draft. And my thing was this. When Dez wasn't getting the ball, he wasn't very productive. You know, he wasn't your Michael Irvin type of receiver. He wasn't your we'll get to Brandon Marshall. But, you know, he was a big play receiver that didn't make that many big plays down the stretch.
Right.
You know, and last year was a little different because, you know, they had Zeke Elliott was out most of the season, and it just wasn't the season for them because they didn't have a running game to establish the pass. I think this year it'll be a little bit different, and I think that they need to go away from trying to find the next Wayne Corbett or whoever they want to, you know, in the slot. And they need to get some good outside receivers to really open up the middle. I'm afraid they're going to get from South Dakota State Dallas Goedert, the best tight end. You know,
right.
If he goes in the first round to him, I could see him replacing Jason Witten, which would be a great thing for them. But I don't know if they're going to get rid of Jason Witten. I think they're going to stay with him until he falls apart.
Well, they've been trying to get rid of Jason Witten for years. They've been how many replacements for Jason Witten have they drafted between
Bennett,
James Hanna, all these guys who were supposed to come in and replace Jason Witten, and Jason Witten has outlasted every single one of them. What people are talking about for this year is, hey, it's an even year. Even years have been good for the Cowboys in the last several ones. The odd seasons are the ones where they fall off. The even ones are the ones where they get better and they have 10-win seasons. That's the way the NFL plans it, though, right? Because it's all about parity. If you have a bad year, then they give you an easier schedule. The Cowboys had a bad year last year, so they've got an easier schedule than they did last year. Of course, they still have to worry about playing Philadelphia twice and playing the Redskins twice. I don't know that Alex Smith scares me in Washington that much, but, and how old is Eli Manning getting, and what's he going to be able to do over there? So,
and I think that Philadelphia is down for a slide. I love, what they did last year, and I'm glad they won the title because, I don't like the Cowboys. But if the Vikings weren't going to win, I was happy that it was the Eagles. But I don't think that they're going to be the same team that they were this last year because – Carson Wentz, is still, coming back from that injury. I don't know if Nick Foles is going to be the quarterback that he was this season because I just don't know if he has it in him. But I don't know. I don't see I see the Cowboys doing better than they did last year.
Yeah.
But it remains to be seen, though, because they have to get some kind of an attack on the outside.
My prediction is 10-6. They make it as a wild card. And they make the playoffs as a wild card. That's my prediction. Meanwhile, how about the Houston Texans? They open up at New England. That's their first game of the year, at New England, and a 12 o'clock start on September 9th.
Is that New England without Gronk and Tom Brady? Or, because Tom Brady was, he's on that sketch with
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand that Tom Brady may have been cited trying to harass somebody, but it just seems ridiculous. Everybody talks about the Patriots and what are they going to do without Amendola or Gronk, and what's Brady going to do? Brady's going to do the same thing he always does, and that's perform up to the best of his abilities. You think, Belichick might say it might be time to get rid of him because he's getting old, but I don't think he's gonna base his job on it, and that's what he would be doing if he tried to do something and get rid of Tom Brady. But there's definitely some problems there. But we're talking about the Texans. So the Texans are going to play the Giants. They're going to play the Cowboys. They're going to play the Eagles. They're going to play the Redskins. But they also get a chance to play teams like the Jets, and the Browns and the Colts twice, and and the Broncos, who I'm not even sure if they have a quarterback yet. So I think, if J.J. Watt and Deshaun Watson stay healthy, which they didn't do last year, but if J.J. Watt and Deshaun Watson stay healthy, then I think this team is on the rise, and I don't see a reason why they couldn't go ahead and win their division. I don't trust the Colts at all. Andrew Luck hasn't thrown a ball in, 14 months, something like that. Mm-hmm. So I just don't see it happening. So it's gonna be up to the Jags, who of course he came in and did them so much better than anybody ever thought they did. But do you trust Blake Bortles to have another great year? Do you trust Blake Bortles to have a second great year?
Here's my thing. I don't dislike Blake Bortles. I think he's almost like Trent Dilfer was.
Right.
A manageable quarterback that he's not Alex Smith. He doesn't, he doesn't always throw a smart ball. But last year in the playoffs, he looked really good.
One thing the Texans are going to have to do is they're going to have to replace some linemen. Dwayne Brown left, and he had been there forever. Somebody else, Derek Newton, I think, left that team as well. So they're definitely going to have – but, hey, what about adding the Honey Badger? Getting Tyrann Mathieu from as a free agent to come to Houston, which is where he wanted to go. And, he's just hitting his prime. That's a good pickup for that defense. You've got him and Jonathan Joseph in the defensive backfield. I think that's pretty good. I think the Texans can go 11-5. Is that too much?
You're a homer.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a homer. All right, I'm a homer. I want to see the Texans do well. I want to see the Cowboys do well. Did
Peterson sign anywhere?
Not that I know of.
He was on the fence, he was trying to get with Houston. I think it was him trying to get to Houston more than it was them wanting him.
Yeah, not that I know of. Not that I know of. Hey, Jake, let's talk a little NBA right now since it's happening as we speak.
Yes. Hey, condolences to Coach Popovich.
Yeah, tremendous condolences to all the Spurs family and especially Coach Greg Popovich on the loss of his wife of 4 decades, Erin Popovich. And, Pop's been such a private person for so long. And it's not like, he had kids, he had grandkids. It's not like they were ever in any articles about him. It's not like they were ever in any photos with him that got out in the media. Pop was a very, very private person. You knew he liked his wine, and you knew he loved Tim Duncan, and you knew he was a great coach. And that was about all any of us knew. But you ask the guys who knew Pop, you ask Manu Ginobili, you ask Steve Kerr how important Erin Popovich was to Coach Greg Popovich, and it's they can't even talk about it without tearing up, without breaking down. And of course, Greg Popovich not coaching tonight. His assistant coach Ettore Messina is coaching tonight. Right now, it's halftime in San Antonio, Game 3. Spurs need to get a win tonight. They don't have Popovich, but maybe they'll try to win for him. Right now, they're down 6, 52-46 at the half. Looks like Kevin Durant already on fire, 17 points for him. For Durant. Meanwhile, the Spurs are being led by, guess who? Rudy Gay and Tony Parker. Not exactly who you'd expect to be leading the team, but each of those two guys has 10 points. But, getting some good points from maybe some unexpected places. It's going to be tough for the Spurs, but you hope they can win one for a mourning Popovich clan. And Would like to see the Spurs get a win at home tonight.
I don't, I look at that team, and I don't want to say that the Spurs have gotten older and less competitive, but they have.
Yeah,
and especially with Kawhi out. But I do have to say, with Kawhi, it's pretty much horse crap that Kawhi is not sitting on the bench.
What do you think that is? What do you think that is?
I think that
why would Kawhi decamp back to New York instead of stay with his team?
Because of Trump. No, I'm just kidding. He's at Trump Towers with Melania. No, I think that I think the issue is he's trying to. I don't know if it's his idea or his dad's idea or somebody's idea, his agent's idea, but you're trying to strong arm the Spurs, and it's never worked before. You know,
No.
the Spurs do not believe in strong arming. So I think for Kawhi, if he's under contract for another year, you know, if they don't want to trade him, they won't trade him.
No.
You know, they'll just be stubborn.
Yeah.
And, you know, they'll make him play it out. And so, you know, for Kawhi, he would have been better served at least showing up, supporting his team. I mean, you're still collecting a check.
That's the thing, though. Who's putting this? I mean, who's advising Kawhi? Because whoever it is doing a rotten job. Because public sentiment has just completely gone out the window for him. If there was anybody that was on Kawhi's side during this before, you think they are now? I can't see it. I can't see it. All the guys want him to be there. We heard about that closed door meeting that the team had with Kawhi Leonard, and you know where basically they implored him to say, "Hey, either stay or go. But if you go, you're gone forever. We can't just keep going on a yo-yo here, wondering if you're going to come back or not." And whoever is advising Kawhi in this, and I mean, there's a chance that it's all medical, right? That the Spurs doctor said he's cleared, but he still doesn't feel right, and so he thinks that the Spurs are trying to strong-arm him into coming back on the court before he feels like he's ready. I mean, I guess there's a chance that's what he thinks, but
I don't think it's a Grant Hill moment. I don't think this is your Grant Hill moment where Grant Hill got hurt.
Okay, right.
Letting him play. I don't think the Spurs are that way where they're going to make him play hurt. You know, I think Kawhi is sitting out, and I don't know. I almost don't think he wants to hurt his trade value by coming back and showing some ill effect.
So you think that Kawhi is not what he used to be, and he doesn't want anybody to know that yet? Is that what you're saying?
And I've read on some websites how he's a system player in the Spurs system. He does very well. That doesn't mean that he's going to be very well in another system. You know, and I could be wrong, but you know, he's not LeBron James. He doesn't need to have the ball in his hands all the time. So maybe he'd be fine in another system.
Yeah, Charlie Brenner there says the longer Kawhi doesn't play, the more his value will decrease. Yeah, I mean, I do too. It's like Andrew Luck in the Colts, right? Until you see him with a basketball in his hand, you're not going to believe that he can do what he used to do before, right? Maybe Kawhi's not going to be the Kawhi he was ever again. And you talk about decrease your trade value, yeah, but it'll also decrease any supermax contract that he might get coming down the line. I just can't believe that this rift between the two parties is, it's not the Spurs. The Spurs. I mean, if Popovich can make up with LaMarcus Aldridge after last year and have LMA play as well as he did this year, then anything is possible, right?
But I look at it too. Remember Steven Jackson? Steven Jackson.
Oh yeah, that's true.
They win the title.
That's been a long time ago, though.
Yeah, but he turned into a turd. And Popovich said, we don't need you. But that was
hit the road, Jack.
That was when they were loaded. You know, he was more. That was when they were more loaded.
Kind of the same with Richard Jefferson too, if you remember.
Yeah. And
Richard Jefferson was a big free agent signing, got here and couldn't do anything.
Yeah, well, because he wasn't Richard Jefferson from New Jersey. But I don't know. I look at it and I think that I think that the Spurs. This isn't the Spurs' MO to have all this drama play out in the media, and I personally I don't know if it's them. I think it's more Kawhi's people, not Kawhi probably, but Kawhi's people. And
yet, Coach Popovich in the post game after Game 2 came out there and laid out that shot where he praised LaMarcus Aldridge for coming out and playing and being part of a team and working through all the adversity. And there's no way you can tell me that saying all that about LaMarcus wasn't a shot at Kawhi. So, I mean, Popovich has obviously, lost his patience with the thing as well, or else he wouldn't be taking shots at Kawhi in the media like that, right?
I will say this. I do think that they set themselves up in a really good situation for, say, LeBron or somebody that – I think that everybody's talking about LeBron going to Houston or L.A., and I really think San Antonio would be a great fit for him because they need a ball handler, somebody that can set up the offense, because Patty Mills isn't doing it for you. You know, Murray's not doing it for you. You know, and we've seen some of the guys in the G League, like what's it, Bryn Forbes and all those other guys.
Yeah.
I think that, you know, you bring in LeBron next year because he likes Pop.
He loves Pop. He loves Pop.
Like
he loves playing for Pop and Team USA.
Yeah. So
whenever Pop's the assistant there. Yeah.
So you let Kawhi go to LA and you get you know, Kyle Kuzma, and you know, as long as you don't get Lonzo Ball, you're fine.
Yeah, but the thing is, Pop's the only reason that LeBron would come, right?
Yeah.
I mean, why else?
So. John Paul says,
I mean,
yes, you're right. If LeBron goes to the West, I think he's going to the Spurs. So.
Might as well, right? Might as well. And right now, 26 seconds left in the third quarter, and the Warriors are extending their lead, 84-70. This could be a 4-game sweep, Jake. This could be a 4-game sweep. Warriors up by 14 as the third quarter comes to a close. Sixers beat the Heat tonight, 128-108, and Philadelphia leads that series 2-1. And looks like, and the New Orleans Pelicans are about to win their third straight game against Portland. They're up 19 points with 32 seconds to play. A little surprised that Dame Lillard and C.J. McCollum haven't been doing anything for Portland.
You know, in the NCAA tournament, they always say, you know, you want to have guards in the tournament. Not so much all the time in the NBA, especially petite guards. They're both tiny guards. Right. You know, they're getting manhandled by a stronger Pelicans team.
Yeah.
You know, and that's without DeMarcus Cousins.
All right, so it looks like that's going to be a 4-game sweep, and it looks like the Spurs are going to get swept as well. Portland and San Antonio on their way to getting swept out as they're both going to go down 3-0 tonight. Hey, we told you we were going to talk about the one soccer team we have left in the Rio Grande Valley, and that is the McAllen Lady Bulldogs, who left today for Georgetown, Texas, and where tomorrow at 9:30 a.m., that's early, they're going to take on Houston Memorial, Spring Branch ISD Memorial High School, the Mustangs. Yeah, I think the Mackay Bulldogs are used to taking on the Memorial Mustangs, but this is going to be quite a different set of Mustangs. Jake, you were there. You've been running around McAllen. The support for this Mackay girls soccer team is pretty incredible.
Yeah, I'm amazed, too, because the city jumped on, too. Businesses have jumped on. They've been very supportive. I mean, it's the first girls soccer team in the Rio Grande Valley to go this far. And and they haven't done it with luck. They played really great defense.
Oh, yeah.
And fortuitous bounces that, you know, for scores. I mean, against San Antonio Johnson.
Their own goal. Yeah.
But it was a hell of a center or corner. And it went right off her foot into the goal. And, you know, look, luck favors the prepared. You know, they're a very prepared team. They play club soccer when they're not playing team soccer. So, you know, they're very familiar with each other. And, you know, they have a good mixture of size and speed.
Yeah.
You know, their goal is tremendous. You saw the saves that she had in that package that you did.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, they got a goalie that can move. She's not a midget. Like, you know, a lot of times we get into the playoffs and you have a 5'6", or not even a 5'6", a 5'4", 5'2" goalie. You know, they have a good sized goalie that can cover ground, and she's knocking away balls, and you know she's keeping them in games, and they're so
and they're all young too, right? They're all like sophomores and juniors. I mean, and talk about a playmaker. That Weston Henderson girl, did you see that play she made against Lake Travis? Was
she put that girl
incredible. Yes, she did. She had her crossed over like James Harden did to Wes Matthews. Man, it was nasty. And you know, that kind of playmaking ability is what we've waited for so long. We've seen it a lot in the boys teams, and that's why they've been able to go so far. But we haven't seen a playmaker like Weston Henderson who's able to open things up for the rest of her team. I don't think in a long time. I think this is a team that's going to be. I expect them to win tomorrow morning. I really do against Houston Memorial. And then they get in the championship game, and anything can happen. But, hey, you know, this is the furthest we've ever had a Rio Grande Valley girls soccer team. We've been waiting forever. and ever for it to happen. I mean, what did soccer start in the Valley? Like 1983? So we're talking like 35 years until we finally get our first girls soccer team in the Final Four. We got our first boys soccer team in the Final Four in, I guess, 2000. No, we got one in the 90s. I forgot Hannah went in the 90s before I got here, but we started really winning around 2006, 2008. And it'd be nice if Mac High could bring home the Valley's 7th ever state championship in the sport of soccer, and the first for girls.
And you'll be able to watch it tomorrow on NFHS.com. The link is actually at McAllenisd.org. You can see the link.
There you go.
You go there. It's going to cost you $10, but you get to watch history. So it's well deserved. It's a good game. I mean, it's at 9:30 in the morning.
And it's not pay-per-view. It's a subscription. So if you subscribe and they win, then you can watch Mac High go for the championship on Saturday.
Yeah, or you can watch TV too. Fox Southwest still have it.
Oh, well, Fox Southwest, are they doing the 6A girls game live?
Yeah, they should be. I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
So, but
fantastic.
Regardless, you buy Friday, you get Saturday on NHS.
Yeah. I see Charlie Brenner's asking if Progresso's still in. Progresso is not in. They lost to Palestine. We talked about that earlier, losing 3-1 to Palestine. That was yesterday. That game started at 6:30. Progresso has now been to the state Final Four 3 straight years and not gotten out of the semifinals any of those 3 times. As a matter of fact, it was Palestine that beat them, their first time 3 years ago. When Progresso went for the first time, Palestine beat them on their way to a championship, actually, that year. So Palestine won the state title on their way a couple of years ago, beating Progresso. We'll see if they get the 4A title there again. Hey, one more thing, note on Mac High. The last time the furthest a girls soccer team in the Valley had ever gotten before this, once again, was Mac High, and it was the same coach. Pat Arney is a fantastic coach. He knows how to take talent and use it to its utmost. Sometimes he gets a lot of talent. Like you say, some of these club soccer girls come to him. Sometimes the club soccer girls go to McAllen Memorial, who went to the regional finals or to the regional tournament 2 years in a row, the last couple of years. But, like Robert Vela says there, Dynamo players, those South Texas Dynamo players that I covered a couple of years ago when they went to the national championship, they're on that Mac High squad. And you definitely have to say thanks to, Gary Hamilton and South Texas Dynamo. But you also have to say it's a coach like Pat Arney who knows what to do with them once he gets them and coaches them up to their utmost. It's not just the club soccer coaches that are getting them to the state Final Four. It's the high school coaches as well. And Pat Arney definitely needs some props. 2007, he got them to the regional finals. Couldn't get past that last hurdle, but got them back this time and got them to the Final Four for the first time ever.
Yeah, it'll be exciting tomorrow. 9:30 game, so you can watch on NFHS. So the link is on McAllenisd.org, so you can go there.
It's NFHSnetwork.com.
Is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, and
NFHS.
Way, let's just throw that out there. There was a lot of rumors that the game was going to – you could watch it other places. You can't watch the game anywhere else unless somebody's Facebooking or Periscoping it. But there was like a big thing all week. NFHS owns the rights to anything that's semifinal, state finals in Texas. So whenever you hear that, just smack that person in the head because it's just
take
wrong.
It with a grain of salt. Yeah, NFHS paid a lot of money to get everything. Basically, if it's not, from Fox Sports Southwest. If Fox Sports Southwest isn't doing it, then it's going to be on NFHS Network, and that's the way that works. So 2007 and now 2018. Mac High girls soccer, getting it done.
So what's next? What are we going to talk about?
Well, let's talk about the Des Bryant situation, shall we?
Okay. Yes. I love talking.
First, the funny story, because this is greatness. So Brandon Marshall was with the Giants this past year. And of course, he's gone from team to team to team, and he was with the Giants this last year. He and Odell Beckham Jr. was supposed to be some great, pair of receivers, but it didn't really work out that way. But Dez Bryant comes out after he's released by the Cowboys this past week and says, this was last Friday, comes out over the weekend and says, I would like to play for the New York Giants. I would want to play for the New York Giants. Brandon Marshall comes out, New York Giants wide receiver, comes out on Instagram and says, sorry, baby, no room for you. We got no room for you, says Brandon Marshall.
I love Brandon Marshall on
This is terrible, man.
He's wonderful.
This is terrible.
It's bad.
Brandon Marshall got released today by the New York Giants. He tells Dez Bryant, I'm sorry there's no room for you. And the Giants say, well, actually, there is room for Dez Bryant if they want to get him, because Brandon Marshall, bye-bye. Released today, even after he agreed to take a pay cut. Marshall did. He agreed to take a pay cut from the Giants, but Giants said, nope, not going to happen. Marshall says he's not retiring, by the way. So,
of course, his play on the field would almost be like he's retired.
34 years old. 34 years old, Brandon Marshall. How's that work? How does that happen?
But yeah. I feel for him for just the sheer fact that when I was a freshman in high school, I asked a girl to homecoming. She said yes. And I was really happy. I told my friend. I was very cocky about it. And then she told me that she wasn't going to go to homecoming with me, and she went with him. So I feel for Brandon Marshall. I feel for that. I know how he feels.
That's what happens when you're. That's what happens when you're an Instagram warrior, man. Yeah. When you're flexing your Instagram muscles. Oh, sorry, baby. Sorry, Dez Bryant. There's no room here for you. It's me and Odell Beckham Jr. and Eli Manning. There's no room for you, Dez Bryant. Woo, man. And not when you're only on a 2-year contract. Not when they can release you like that. And that is it. And, I don't know if the Giants are going to try for Dez Bryant. Here's who might and who has actually said they are looking at Dez Bryant, and that is the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens have actually come out and said, yes, we're going to look at Dez Bryant. Yes, Joe Flacco would like to throw to Dez Bryant. Yeah, that's something that could definitely happen. So, the Ravens definitely, whether, they can come to an agreement with, Dez Bryant or not. Obviously, Bryant said that he would have taken a pay cut with the Cowboys. He just wasn't offered one.
But he wants to go to the NFC East team.
He wants to go to the NFC East. Yeah, on his way out, he told Mickey Spagnola. Mickey Spagnola is a DallasCowboys.com reporter, so he's always around. And on his way out, Dez Bryant, after he left his meeting with Jerry Jones after he was cut, he says, I'll see you guys twice a year. Mm-hmm. So, unless we're talking about preseason games with the Houston Texans, who the Cowboys will see twice this year, but only one preseason and one regular season. So, it's obvious that he'd want to go to the Giants, the Redskins, or the Eagles. And I can't see the Eagles, with everything that's around Dez Bryant and all the, hot-headedness and all the screaming and all the quote-unquote passion that he's got for the game that really can be a distraction. I can't see the Eagles wanting to mess up a Super Bowl locker room by getting Dez Bryant.
No, I don't think so either. All right. Now, our last topic of the evening.
Yes, last topic.
I am mixed on this, and that is instant replay at the state finals for football. And I'm mixed. I have mixed emotion on this because I feel that the high school game, not the game itself, but everything around it, the pageantry, it takes too long.
Okay.
For those of you, my friends that are watching from South Dakota or around the world, in Texas, they have 30 minutes at halftime, and both bands perform. And the weather's nice here; it's not 40 below, 20 below, 10 below, so that, the instruments work. And so they have the bands play, and it's very long. It's great if you're doing TV, so you can cut the tape and get the film to the FTP server and stuff, all that good stuff. But, when you talk about how long the game feels already, to throw it into a replay, it's a daunting task.
Yeah, so for those who don't know the story, excuse me, that don't know the story, the UIL announced today that they are going to implement instant replay for state championship games only. And the reason they can do that is because the UIL controls everything that's at the state championship game, so they can control how it works. So they can, so they're not going to worry about, semifinal games or games in Abilene or Sweetwater or Laredo or Eagle Pass or anything like that. They're just going to worry about the games that happen at the state championship, which is usually in the Alamo Dome or NRG Stadium in Houston, or most likely always Jerry World in Arlington. Now, the thing is, yeah, they can do this, and it shouldn't be that tough. But the question is how are you going to implement it for the coach? Are the coaches going to have challenges? Are the coaches going to have iPads or monitors where they can see the replay? Or is it going to be automatic instant replay like it is when it's less than 2 minutes in the NFL? Is everyone going to see, are they just going to automatically look at every play and then some eye in the sky decides, oh, that one needs to be looked at again? How are they going to implement this if the coaches don't get challenges? Because that's how it works in the NFL and that's how it works in college football, is the coaches get challenges. But coaches never challenge unless they've got somebody to look at a play. They've got a coach on the sideline saying, okay, challenge that one. Okay, challenge that one. Are they going to get that? Are they going to get that in the state championship game?
And the problem I have is this. I almost think that the high school football, the way high school football, at least in Texas, is it's set up pretty well. It feeds you into college. Look at all the recruits that we get out of Texas. I don't know that you have to mess with it with this. This seems like something that is too expensive. I know it's at the state level, but it's too expensive. It's just a little too much. But I'll be honest with you, I think Texas and UIL needs to look at putting a shot clock in basketball, because there's all these states out there. I think 17 states that have a shot clock. I have friends right now that are watching from South Dakota. There's a shot clock in South Dakota. In Texas, we have all these great basketball players and no shot clock. You can just basically go Dean Smith 4 corners and make the game boring. UIL, spend your money on this kind of stuff, not on instant replay at the state level. And I also think you screw with people too, because you don't have it all year, and then you throw it in right there. Yeah,
and we know why this is happening. It's because it's being televised. That's why. If these games weren't being televised, and make a big amount of money for both the UIL and for Fox Sports Southwest, then this would be a moot point. It wouldn't be happening. But because these games are televised, and every single one of them is, and every single one of them makes a lot of money in the commercial sense, that's why they want it to happen. The technology is there. The problem is the technology is really everywhere on the 6A and 5A level. You could implement this, just about anywhere. To only have it in the state championship game, I agree with you. It seems a little weird, and it seems like you're kind of changing the game at a very late date. And if the coaches don't have to worry about it, if the coaches don't have to do anything, if the coaches don't have to do any challenges, okay, maybe then that's not that big of a change. But once again, then you get into the question of what plays get looked at, what plays don't, and who makes the decision, whether you look at a play or not. And that's something that the UIL is going to have to figure out, because they said it today. It's going to happen. And it might only happen for 1 year, but it's definitely going to happen this year.
Now, I've got some friends, and I do want to point this out. I'm sorry. I know we were just going to talk about instant replay, but now, we're just talking about this. In the 1990s, when I moved to South Dakota, and before this, I was in Argentina, there was a shot clock in Argentina, FIBA rules, and in South Dakota, there was a shot clock in the 1990s. How is it that Texas, we go all the way to 2018, now we're going to be going to the 2019 season, and we still don't have a shot clock implemented in high school basketball here? And we're supposed to have these stellar athletes. It kills me that we don't have something like that, because the games are boring as hell sometimes, because when you have little guards or you have a big enough lead, you can just stall. And, a lot of coaches are like, well, that's when coaching comes out. I'm like, shut up. That's like when baseball coaches tell me that baseball's like chess. It's not. It's you need to have a shot clock to prepare them for college. Football in Texas is pretty much mainstream to get you ready for college.
They use the NCAA rules. Yeah.
Yeah. And basketball in high school, come on. I mean, you're in Texas and we can't put a shot clock. If you can't put a shot clock in basketball, then you shouldn't even think about putting instant replay in. So yeah. I do think this. I do think that college coaches, because if you're allowing college coaches, and this is another thing UIL and the NCAA need to figure out, all college coaches should be able to work with high school kids. If one sport can, every sport should be able to. And I don't want to point fingers at what sport it is, but I think it's a benefit to the kids to get them away from those AAU guys.
All right.
Sorry, I know we went way off the beaten path there.
Nah, that's all right. That works.
It sounds like my podcast. Jake hates something, but.
Yeah, that's all right. You got to get it off your chest, man. You got to get it off your chest. That's what this is for. It's like a therapy session for you.
Yeah. And by the way, I didn't. Some people thought I was referring to them when I was saying something was stupid, and I wasn't. Okay, so they know what I'm talking about.
Okay, good. Well, inside jokes always play well.
Yeah, to those people. Yeah.
All right, to recap.
Yeah.
Progresso falls to Palestine. That game was 3-1, as was tonight's game, Valley View versus Frisco Wakeland. 3 red cards for Valley View. They were playing with 8 guys at the end of that game. They lose 3-1 as well. Tough one. So all our boys soccer teams are done. We've got one girls soccer team left, and that is Mac High. They will play Houston Memorial, Spring Branch Memorial tomorrow morning at 9:30. And if they win, then they'll play 4 o'clock on Saturday for the state championship game. And this is the first time ever we've had a Rio Grande Valley high school soccer team make it into the state Final Four. Dallas Cowboys and Houston Texans released their regular season schedules tonight. Pretty interesting. Cowboys with back-to-back Thursday night games. And they've got they start on the road for the first time since 2012. Houston Texans have 2 games on the road. They don't get a home game until September 23rd, and they will play each other this year. October 7th, Cowboys at Texans. That's Sunday Night Football on NBC. So that will be interesting as well. We also talked about the Spurs playing tonight without Greg Popovich. He is in mourning for his wife of 40 years who passed away yesterday, Erin Popovich. Everyone in the NBA giving their condolences. But the Spurs tonight with assistant coach Ettore Messina on the bench are falling. Right now they're down by 17 to the Golden State Warriors. Game 3 of that series in San Antonio tonight. It's 98-81 with 4 minutes and 50 seconds left. Spurs are going to go down 3-0, and Kevin Durant already with 26 points tonight and 9 rebounds as well.
Hey, can I point out? I'd like to thank Coach Evans and Coach Guest for watching the show today. I know you're
sure. Hey, we hope to do this every Tuesday and Thursday night at 10 o'clock is what we're hoping.
Yeah. And we're trying to perfect it so that we can go back to 956 Sports with this or another Facebook page. But we had to do this tonight because we're working the kinks out.
Yeah, man. It's the first show of the Compadre system.
Yes.
The Compadre system. I like it, huh? All right, Compadre, I think we're done.
Sounds good to me. And we'll be back next Tuesday. We'll recap what happens this weekend with Mac High Soccer and
we'll start looking at the softball playoffs because those are going to start here in just a few days, and that'll be good to look at as well. And we'll update everybody on everything that's happening. Maybe talk a little G League as well because some big changes are going to come, not just for the Vipers changing their arena, but changes in that team as well. And we'll talk about that coming up.
And we're getting raises. The G League's going to give us a raise too.
Well, wouldn't we like that?
Yeah.
All right. I'm Clay Williams. That's Jake Berry. This has been the Compadre System. Episode 1. You can say you saw it first.